Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back in an episode of Into Darkness, our series that is dedicated to Snarling Badger Studios' Space Station Zero. And we are actually playing in this battle report. This battle report is challenge number 21. It is the Bar Challenge. And what is happening is that my crew has found itself in the depths of Space Station Zero next to a bar with a bunch of drunken mutants that I'll need to get past or move on to the next challenge in our campaign. So this solo play campaign has been going on for a while now. We're actually starting to get to the last few scenarios of our campaign. I'm super excited to see exactly what challenges lay ahead and what secrets may lie within the depths of Space Station Zero. So that being said, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we'll talk about the scenario rules, as well as show you rosters for my crew, Thundrik's Profiteers. So with that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. Challenge 21, the Bar. This bay is adorned with chairs and couches, and a long bar runs along the side of the room. Most of this is in terrible disrepair, with bottles from behind the bar piled in the center emptied. The sources of this becomes readily apparent as you enter. You find a group of mutants fighting over the last bottle that has a drop of liquid in it. As you enter the bay, they give up their squabble and turn their attention to you. So this is challenge number 21, the Bar. This is the third to last scenario that I have to go through before I actually make it all the way to the end of Space Station Zero. And in this one, I have to face two different obstacles. I gotta face drunken mutants as well as explosive decompression. For drunken mutants, there are 6 of them I have to fight. These guys have 8 life, 6 movement, 6 combat, 2 reaction, and 1 intelligence. They're armed with powerful fists. That's a close combat weapon that gives them +1 to combat. And they have a special ability called Shrug It Off. If a drunken mutant suffers 2 or less damage from a combat challenge test attack, they reduce this damage to 0. Now the second challenge I gotta worry about is explosive decompression. It says this explosion above in the shuttle bay has weakened this area of the ship. As the start of each crew member's activation, roll a d12. On a result of an 8+, that crew member is caught in a localized explosion, causing a short burst of decompression. That crew member and all crew members in 3 inches of them must make a movement save of 4. If a crew member fails, that member suffers damage equal to the amount by which they failed the test. So once I destroy these mutants, I'm pretty much free and clear. So with that being said, I'm going to play some background music and show you the rosters for my crew, Thundrik's Profiteers. So now that we're done with the scenario rules, let's talk about the battle plan real quick. So this is my crew over here. This is Thundrik's Profiteers. It is a shipping crew. This is the guys that have been going on an adventure the entire time. First of all, we have Kazgan Draxcure, my soldier. Up in the front, we have my guard, the Shipbreaker. Next to him is Garen Allenson, my pilot. In the back is Deadeye Lund, my medical officer, followed by Enrik Ironhelm, my engineer, and Bjorgen Thundrik, my commander. So these guys have been going through it quite a bit, actually, going through all the different challenges. And on this challenge, I have 2 things I got to worry about. First of all, I got to worry about 6 drunken mutants, as you can see scattered throughout the battlefield. I got my work cut out for these guys. These guys have life of 8, movement 6, combat 6, 2 reaction, as well as 1 intelligent. They also got close combat weapons that give them +1 to their combat score, giving them combat 7. And they also have a special ability called Shrug It Off. If a drug mutant suffers 2 or less damage from a combat challenge test, they reduce the damage to 0. So I got to be able to at least get 3 damage on these guys if I want to kill them. So that's one thing I got to worry about dealing with, is fighting all 6 of these drunken mutants. Another thing I got to worry about as well is explosive decompression. What should happen is that at the start of each of my activations, I got to roll a d12. On a roll of a 8+, explosive decompression happens, and I have to take a movement 4 test save. And if I fail it, I either lose that many life points for every single time I fail that test. So got my work cut out for me on this one. So now that we're done talking about the challenges, let's talk about the battle plan real quick. My plan here is to pretty much keep my team together. I've been keeping my team together and been basically engaging enemies throughout the entirety of the campaign, keeping them as one group. Now, it does take me a little bit longer to do that because my crew is kind of small, but at the same time, it also makes sure that none of my guys get injured too badly. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Probably going to move up here, take out these guys here, and then fight defensively as these mutants move towards me from other sides and defeat those guys that way. And hopefully once I defeat the mutants, I can escape out of here and move on to the engine room challenge. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and I get to go first because I have activations. Alright, so that takes us directly to the end of turn number 1. So let's talk about exactly what happened. So first of all, I sent in the Shipbreaker, made him go a point between these two pieces of terrain, acting as a bottleneck, drawing up the mutants. Of course, the mutants did come up forward from the center here, managed to put 2 wounds directly on the Shipbreaker. However, between the combined attacks of the Shipbreaker, Bjorgen, Thundrik, as well as Kazgan, Draxcure, Garrett Allenson, and my entire crew, I was able to kill off these last 2 mutants as well. Meanwhile, down over here, this mutant, of course, did try to climb up and did dumb movements to go directly towards my character up here, towards Bjorgen Thundrik, so I had to worry about him getting engaged in close combat. Same thing with the little drunken mutant that's over here, down here on the bottom of the wall as well. My plan is to have Bjorgen Thundrik rocket out of here with his rocket boots, his jump boots, that way he doesn't worry about doing that as well. At the same time, these 2 mutants moved up directly from the top of the deployment area, moved as quick as they can, doing double movements directly towards the Shipbreaker. And that pretty much makes up turn number 1 on this one. So with turn number 1 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 2. Alright, so that takes us directly to the bottom of turn number 2, and as you can see, my crew is making short work of these mutants. This terrain piece right here, creating this bottleneck, is really helping out quite a bit actually. So let's talk about exactly what happened first. So first of all, I activated Bjorgen Thundrik, and he actually used his logistics expert ability to rocket himself all the way across the battlefield over here. He then opened fire and managed to put a couple of wounds directly onto one of the super the drunken mutants as well. Now the drunken mutants got to go next, and of course after their combined attacks, managed to put 2 more wounds directly onto the Shipbreaker. The Shipbreaker was unable to cause any injuries, same thing with Garrett Allenson, so that part was kind of sad. However, between Kazgan Draxcure as well as Enric Ironhail was able to put down one of the mutants as well. Same thing with Deadeye Lum, managed to put 6 wounds directly onto this guy over here. So now they have 2 mutants who are currently down. We only got 2 mutants left. Luckily for me though, I did pass all of my activation tests to make sure that no explosive decompression has occurred. So all my guys are doing fine right now. So far we're making short work of these mutants. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 3. Alright, so that takes us directly to the bottom of turn number 3. So for my very first activation, of course, I rolled up on Deadeye Lund, my medical officer. He managed to pass his activation without having to worry about explosive decontamination. He then did an intelligence check in order to patch up the wounds directly onto the Shipbreaker, bringing it up to maximum health. I then activated next, and then of course I managed to pass my activations. So because I was able to go next, Kazgan Draxcure then charged directly into this super mutant, finishing off that drunken mutant real quick with the last 2 wounds and killing that guy as well. Now this, of course, mutant did try to attack Kazgan Draxcure. Unfortunately for him though, he flubbed his rolls. He was able to get 1 success, but the 1 success he did have, he also rolled a 1, which is a failure, so it basically canceled out. And then from there, for the rest of the turn, for the combined attacks from Garrett Allenson, Enric Ironhail, as well as my Shipbreaker, as well as Bjorgen Thundrik, they were able to finish out the very last wounds of this last super mutant. And just like that, that brings us another victory for Bjorgen Thundrik and Thundrik's Profiteers. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go directly to the post game because this game is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Sure, I could have stayed in the past. Could have even been king. But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Alright, so now it's time for the post game. Not much has really changed so much for my crew except experience points obtained. Bjorgen Thundrik earned 2 more experience points, putting him at 34 experience points, which means he's only actually 1 experience point away from actually gaining the maximum level that he can for his commander. The rest of my guys, of course, increased their experience points by 1 point apiece, including the Shipbreaker as well. So as you can see there, and from there we move on to our next challenge. The next challenge that we'll move on to is the engine room, which is our next challenge. The engine room will be the second to last challenge that we will face before we move on to the control room, and then finally to Master System, the very last mystery of Space Station Zero being found. So that's good for those of you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is valuable to us as always. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this week, guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.